Nothing is impossible. The word itself is I'm possible. My name is Elaina Camacho, and I am the first female athlete ambassador for Maryland Law Enforcement Torch Run. Isn't that cool? What an honor for any female. The public is always saying that men are better at everything than women. I know it may not be as strong as a man, but I know my thoughts on what is right, fair, and good, or wrong, are just as important. The safety of our nation is for everybody, and understanding that police men and women are important to everybody. If we trust in our law enforcement to be there for us, we can solve a lot of problems in our communities. The Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics Maryland began in 1986. The first leg was held in Carroll County and was organized by Howard County Police Chief Jim Roby. Police officers sold t-shirts and ran the Flame of Hope across Maryland. Since 1986, the Maryland Law Enforcement Torch Run has raised over $50 million, and more police departments have become involved. The Maryland Law Enforcement Torch Run Council consists of LETR Director, LETR Deputy Director, LETR Chairman, LETR Liaison, Regional Area Coordinators, Agency Coordinators, At-Large Representatives, Athlete Representative, and Special Olympics Maryland Torch Run staff. The Maryland Law Enforcement Torch Run gives police officers opportunities to help others, build friendships, make a difference not only as an agency, but as an individual, and positive image for law enforcement corrections in the communities. The more officers involved, the more they encourage other officers to join in due to the impact athletes have on them. I'm an Air Force brat, born in England. I was born at Royal Air Force Base, Lakenheath. My family lived off base in the village of Mildenhall. There were a few military families living there. However, most were British citizens. My brother loved growing up in Mildenhall. Most of his friends were British. He had a very good accent when we moved back to the US when I was a year and a half. We had only one car. My dad's job required him to report to the base at all hours, both day and night. Sometimes he was gone 10 to 12 hours at a time. Since I was sick most of the time, my mom would have to drive him to and from the base. This was done so she could have the car for doctor appointments. Many times, my mom, my brother, and I would have to get up in the middle of the night to get my dad to work. This led to my first encounter with a law enforcement officer. Law enforcement officers in England are called bobbies. Bobby was the nickname of Sir Robert Peel, who founded the first organized police force in London in September 1829, now known today as the Metropolitan Police District. One of our neighbors was a bobby, and ironically his name was Bobby the Bobby. He did foot patrol in our neighborhood from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. On one of his patrols, he noticed my mom loading me and my brother into the car late at night so my mom could get my dad to work. So one night during his patrol, He approached my mom and helped her put me and my brother back in bed, and from then on, he volunteered to watch our house while my mom took my dad to work. If he wasn't near our house, his wife would stay until my mom got back. After my family met Bobby the Bobby, it wasn't until I turned 8 that I met my next policeman. It was my first time competing for Special Olympics Maryland in swimming at the University of Maryland. A policeman saw me on the awards podium. I never knew his name, and neither did my parents. For some reason, he wanted to be the one to give me my award. So he rotated with other policemen so he could give me my award. For the next several years at summer games, he would tell his fellow officers that he was the only one allowed to give me my awards. For the next 23 years of competitions, policemen and women have been placing medals and ribbons around my neck. I practice and compete in 10-pin bowling. We practice on Sunday afternoons from late August to the end of November. Our former area director, Greg Mead, started a program called Bowling with Cops. He had personal friends in law enforcement. His friends gathered his fellow police officers, and they came to bowl with me and my fellow athletes. I love having them come and bowl with us. I said earlier in my speech that I was 8 years old when I reconnected with my first policeman. That is not quite the truth. At the age of 7, I made my first polar bear plunge team. Our polar bear plunge in Maryland is one of our biggest fundraisers. I was part of the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs team. I was dopey. My mom thought it was a good idea to wear my rain boots when I went in. Not a good idea, Mom. My boots filled with water and I couldn't get out of the water. I was carried out by the huntsman. Our law enforcement officers are our biggest supporters for the polar bear plunge. They have been plunging for 24 years in support of Special Olympics Maryland. I can't say that I have been plunging for that amount of time. I love plunging. My dad has joined me in a lot of my plunges. Go, Dad. I have grown to be a part of this brotherhood. I love plunging with them. Go, police plungers. Solving problems in today's society knows no boundaries. I truly believe in what the thin blue line stands for. At the end of the day, when law enforcement officers return to their homes, behind their badges, they are also everyday people with families and the same hopes and dreams for the future as we do, regardless of where we live. Just as much as law enforcement officers support us, we need to support them too. Thank you for your time today and for your support all my life.